Buddy, happy Wednesday, right?
Wednesday, happy March too. Yeah.
Oh my God, happy March, March 1st. The weather here in New York has been incredible. Literally, the first 3 inches of snow we've had was yesterday.
Oh my gosh. I am so jealous. I'm not kidding. My driveway on one side is 15 foot plus, and the other side is anywhere from 5 to 8 feet of snow piled.
You're kidding
If we
me.
did not have a tractor, we would not be able to leave our house. Well, my husband has a tractor. I'm not driving a tractor. That's just not what I do. But
Wow. Well, tell everyone where you live just in case they don't know.
so I live in Southeast South Dakota, and we have been pounded for months with snow. We just had a blizzard last week. There's Wednesday and Thursday we had a blizzard, and thankfully it was Wednesday and Thursday because Saturday I was heading out on the road on a trip, and I am now in Dallas, Texas, and
Oh, good. So is it warm in Dallas at least?
God, it's amazing. There's green grass, there's leaves on trees. I mean, it's awesome. I love
Leaves,
it.
leaves on trees in the middle of winter, better than being in South Dakota.
Yes.
All right, let's get started on the topic today because this is a good one. And I know you're really hyped up about this because you've been focusing recently on your own brand awareness strategy and
Mhm.
you're learning more and more that it really matters. So explain to someone what brand awareness is and why it's important in their business.
So actually, I have a great quote in my blog post from Jeff Bezos, and I'm just going to read this out because I think it sums it up beautifully. And the brand or brand awareness for a company is like the reputation of your person. You earn the reputation by doing hard things well. So as a brand, how you show up, what people think of you, what they say about you when you leave the room, that's your brand awareness. It's not the color, it's not the logo. Those all have a place and a purpose. But what really builds your business and what really gets people coming back for more and referring you is when you have a really solid brand awareness that people trust. They know, like, and trust.
Yes, so important. And I like what you said. It's what people are saying about you when you leave the room, and bang, that's the scary part right there, right? Because that's
It
what
is.
stops people from being their authentic self sometimes
Mhm.
in their branding and in their strategy. They're trying to be who they think the audience wants them to be to hire them instead of being their real self, because it's hard to make
It's
yourself
hard.
vulnerable.
Well, and that's the trap. And that's what I want to talk about. There's some key questions that I want to share. And if you never go to my blog post, I highly recommend checking it out this month because it's got a lot of really great information. But we get so caught up worried about what people are thinking that we don't realize that by inaction, we are creating a brand awareness. And so, for example, if let's say that you deliver really quickly, but it's kind of average or mediocre results, that's building brand awareness. And the message that you're putting out there is that you offer fast delivery to those, but you don't really care what the service or the results are.
Mm.
So you're quick, but you don't really care what people get. You're just delivering something crap, fast. If you deliver really slowly, but your communication is crap, you're not communicating and saying, hey, here's where we're at in the process, or here's what's going on, or hey, I want to make sure I haven't forgotten about you, or anything like that, then that brand message is that you're very slow and you don't care about your customers. So even if that's not how you want people to see you, even if that's not how you feel, that's how you're being perceived. And that's where you want to focus that message. How do you want to be received or perceived? So if you're an interior designer, which like most of your clients are,
Mhm.
and you're out there helping people realize their dream homes, how are you making your clients feel welcome and at home in your presence?
And it all starts with your public facing assets, with is your website, your social media, right? And your brand
First
awareness.
impression sets the tone. Now, does that mean if you have a bad or not great first impression, can you overcome it? Of course you can, because first impressions aren't everything, but they set the tone. And it's a lot easier to build on a really good, solid first impression than it is to repair a bad impression.
Yes, very true.
Yeah.
And it's hard for people as they're like, I created my first website. I did it myself. It was
Mhm.
really bright turquoise blue. And what I was feeling at the time, I wanted the way I present myself. That made my brand awareness seem a little bit like bubble gum, like right, in the beginning. And then as I learned, so I want to make it okay for people who are in the journey to realize the journey is normal. You're not going to jump right to, but the faster you can get there by the tips you're giving, the better your business is going to be early on, the more profitable you'll be, the more you will present yourself as authentically what your company is to people and what you are to them.
Yeah. And it goes back to what kind of experience do you want to create for your clients? They're not buying your services. They're not buying your knowledge on a sofa. That's not what they're buying. They think that's what they're buying. What they need, though, is an experience that makes them feel good about the expense. And so when you are crafting an experience for your customers, from the very first impression that you have, you're building and building and building into something that they're going to be like, oh my God, Nancy is perfect. Nancy is awesome. Nancy is whatever. For me, coffee cups are part of my brand, and they're very strategic. They're in my logo. I'm constantly showing up. I have a picture in the blog post, like I build gorgeous websites. But that coffee cup is on purpose. Yes, I love coffee. I'm not guzzling it all day long. I usually have about 2 cups. But coffee is something that makes you feel welcome. Hey, come in. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about what's going on in your life. Let's talk about what's going on in your business. I'm here to listen and I'm here for you. That's what coffee makes people feel when you sit down and have coffee break with a friend. You feel listened and heard and seen. And that's what I want my clients to hear. And that's why coffee is all over my brand.
Which is making me bounce to when I first started coaching for 3 or 4 years. I did Weekend Wine Down as a live 1-hour event every Friday night, never missed it, and had guests drinking wine, relaxing, or drinking whatever they wanted to drink. And it was part of my brand in the beginning. And now sort of my dog is part of my brand, that I'm an animal lover. And I like, but people getting to know me and getting to know you makes them want to possibly work with us if they have a need for our services. So that's what we want for everyone to understand.
Exactly. And it's one thing to get out and say, hey, I'm warm and welcoming and I'm going to make you feel seen, heard. Nobody's going to believe that crap. You know,
no,
it's not going to believe that.
Exactly.
But when I kick back with somebody and I connect with them, or they see me sipping coffee with a client or friend or something in my branding images or whatever, they're like, oh my God, Teresa's a very real person. And it's working because I've had people say, I feel like I know you. I knew I wanted to hire you before I got on this call because I feel like I know you. And I feel like you're just a real person who's going to hear me. And you proved that in this call. So I'm 100% myself, no matter what, even if I'm looking a little rough with pigtails today, because it's been an exhausting couple days for me.
Yeah, pigtails. I didn't see the pigtails. I got frizzy hair in the back. Oh, cute. Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. You know, so I mean, like the last couple of days, I was in this in-depth mastermind retreat with industry leaders from around the world about what's going on. And the common message was exactly what I'm sharing with you today. Like, get very real with who you are and be clear on who you are and what you're doing when you show up. And it's going to pay off.
So I teach people to walk through the fear. I don't think it's possible to say you're going to have no fear when you put yourself out into the world. It's just not realistic.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty confident person. I still get terrified sometimes if I get bad comments. I don't like it. You don't like it. I don't know if terrified is the way. We're terrified to sometimes put certain things out into the world. But second is more like once you start getting criticism on anything. I mean, I've gotten criticized on what I've worn and gotten comments. And I'm like, really? Like, so that makes you feel exposed when it comes to your branding photos for your website, for your social media. Like you said, it's not just about colors and things. We were talking about it before, right? Not about colors and fonts as much as it is about, are you really relaying who you are as a business? Your business brand is really overlapping with your personal style and aesthetic and the way you present yourself, right?
Absolutely. And if you are trying to pretend to be someone you're not, it's not sustainable. Even actors, billion-dollar actors, eventually let that persona go because it's not sustainable to not be yourself. You have to show up as who you are, and you've got to put that into it. And so again, thinking back, how do I want to be perceived? And I've got a great exercise in the blog post that you guys can check out. But basically, take a look at a bird's eye view from your branding and say, does my branding capture what I want others to see me as? If I want to be perceived as resourceful or professional, creative, reliable, friendly, like you fill in the blanks. Does my brand capture that? And if it doesn't, if you're facing a slow time, now is the perfect time. This is an opportunity. It's not a down thing. It's an opportunity to be like, all right, how can I capture that? How can I shift that feeling? Who can I strategize with? Who in my circle can help me do those kind of things? And ask yourself, does your branding communicate what you want to be known for? Quality, luxury, confidence, accountability. Do you communicate that? Do you show up? To say I'm a luxury interior designer means nothing, but to show up communicating and showcasing the luxury that you do in images and comments in your social media posts and your website, how you have a conversation with the people visiting you. That communicates it so much better than your tagline saying, I do luxury interior design.
It's so true.
So, ask that stuff, and then ask, is my branding attracting the clients that I dream of working with? And I'm talking about the people that you would work for free if money was no object. Not the people that you are like, when you see on your phone, you're like, oh crap, I got to meet with this person today. If you're attracting those people, then take a look at your brand. If you're looking at your phone and be like, oh, awesome, I get to meet with Nancy today. I'm so excited. I love connecting with Nancy. She is amazing. She's a dream client. Then your brand is working for you.
That's an interesting way to look at it, because you are trying to attract, and I say this to my clients all the time, you often attract people who you want to attract people who even in your personal life you'd want to be friends with.
Yeah.
But you don't want to switch over to friendship. You want to be the professional and stay professional, but you want someone who really you get them and they get you, and they respect you, right? So how do you get that respect? By putting your brand out there authentically.
By putting your brand out there and being real with the people around you. And I got to tell you right now, like some people out here, I know they're like, but I got to pay the bills. Yep, you got to pay the bills. And sometimes you're going to take those clients that you hate, but every time you take a client, not hate, that's a harsh word, but every time you take a client you don't enjoy working for, give yourself a cup of coffee and a notepad and be like, okay, so what would I like in a client? I know I don't like this. What do I like in a client? How am I portraying that? How am I talking to those people? Where are those people hanging out? What are those people doing? And start putting yourself in that mindset. Your dream client's going to shift over time, but brand awareness is going to help you get clarity on that.
Yes. And Karen is saying my website attracts the right people, but I need to get better about saying no to the wrong clients. Yes, that is a whole nother subject, Karen. And yes, and things that I address all the time is the mindset around saying no, and how the most successful people in the world say no more than they say yes.
Yeah. And it's definitely something that you have to practice. And yeah,
and that's why I want everyone to know that when we talk about brand awareness and a strategy, and you may look at Teresa, you may look at me, you may look at other designers and think they've made it, they've got it. But understand there was a whole journey behind that, which is why I make sure I mention I did my own first website. It was horrible. I did my second one. It was less horrible, but it still wasn't great until I had you doing my website the way I really wanted to start presenting myself. And then even now I still go, is that exactly the way I want to present it? Like it's a living, breathing thing.
It's going to change. And that's one of the things I say in the blog post is that every year, as I review my brand and I take a look at it, I fine tune and I shift and I change. And that fine tunes and shifts and change my dream clients as well sometimes. But it's a constant limit, like you said, a living, breathing thing. I mean, right now I'm actually researching the idea of a complete and utter rebrand, because that's the direction that my business is going in. And it's an awesome thing. And it's an exciting thing. And it's an opportunity to really step out there in the way that I want to be perceived.
Yeah. And it's hard like I hired a branding company years ago, and it was a great process to go through. But yeah, I'm like, okay, that was 5 years ago. Is it time for me to go to a rebranding? Is it time for me to go through a full rebranding again? Because I'm a different coach than I was back then. I've discovered new things. I've discovered who I want to work with. So as interior designers and as your web designer and a strategist, where is your journey and is your brand perception keeping up with that? And then how do you get the guts to spend the money to actually change your brand? Right? Walking through the fear, ignoring the fear.
Yeah. Face the fear. Anyway, we all have fear. I mean, like I said, I was at this mastermind retreat and I walked in on Monday and I was probably the dumbest person in the room. And I did that on purpose because I wanted a smarter room. But there was still that fear, that doubt that, oh my God, do I belong here? I absolutely belonged there because those are the people that are going to help me. So you have to just be like, yep, okay, the fear's there. I can feel it, but I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm going to move forward because this is where I'm at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You also what about a questionnaire on your website that helps them determine what your brand is? Is that part of the whole brand, the beginning interaction?
Honestly, every interaction that you have to me has been strategically planned on my website. The questions that I ask, I've been playing around with maybe doing a quiz, all of that is strategic because I want it to be exact. And I'm even fine tuning that process. If you book a consult with me, the email that you get to confirm that, to remind you of your meeting, all of those things are strategically created to create an experience that I want my clients to have. And I had to really get clear about what experience do I want to create for my clients and how do I want them to feel? And then how can I create that through technology? How can I create that with my branding images that I just had, redone in December? How can I create with the color schemes? I'm my first brand as a web designer was pink, purple, and green. That is so not me. They're beautiful colors, but it was little diamond shapes and it was not me.
Mm-hmm.
Fall's my favorite color. That's me. So yeah, absolutely.
What are some tips and for creating a strong brand, strategy, words, layout, colors, and then really getting your personality into it? How do you help people get through that?
Okay. So I'm glad you brought that up. So I want to remind everybody that I have a free course library. Yes, you have to give me your email. That's all you have to do. If you want to unsubscribe once you've gone through the courses, unsubscribe. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But I have a free course library out there. And one of those courses, and the one that I recommend starting with, is a branding course, really diving into your brand. For me, it starts with core values. And I want to encourage you, if you do this branding course, go deeper. Yes, I understand your family and your faith and all of those. I want to know deeper. Why is family important to you? Why is faith? Go deeper because it's more than that. Of course, your family is important to you, and it's not going to devalue them if you don't put them on the list of core values. They're still important to you, but go really deep into what are your core values. And for me, it's really clear, service, excellence are two of my top core values. Taking responsibility, responding with integrity. Those are my core values, and it's important to me to show that up. And by doing that, there's actually a color psychology about colors that represent those core values. And the course goes into this and tells you how to do those things. And so picking those core values, but the first thing is you've got to be honest with yourself and you've got to go deeper. You've got to not think about what your neighbor down the street thinks about your core values or what your business coach even, your business coach is going to tell you, go deeper, get deep.
Go deeper. I'm always really, let's give it more time. People rush through the process also.
They rush through the process.
Sit with it.
Yeah. And I want to share something interesting. So being kind and supportive is something that I used to have. And I think maybe it's still officially listed because I just redid my core values. But being kind and supportive is important to me, but it's actually not a core value, I'm realizing, because my first thing is not to be kind and supportive. It's a byproduct of who I am because I don't try to be a jerk. Being real, being genuine, that is a core value.
Definitely.
Being excellent is a core value. And if I'm being nice to you, I can't always be excellent because sometimes when I'm being nice, I can't be honest and say, I think you're off point here.
It's so true, Teresa. And I think that's part of the reason why you and I get along. And really all of my trusted advisors for my clients, which you are one of them, of course, are people who are going, all right, you hired me for a reason, because I'm going to tell you the truth. And that's why people come to me too. I don't
Yeah.
sugarcoat. It's not right for everybody, but it's right for who
Right.
comes to me. And that is part of my branding too, that I'm real and I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm thinking based on my experience.
Mhm.
You can take it or leave it, but I'm going to tell you, because that's part of my branding, is to be honest with you about what I see
Absolutely.
you doing, spending money on, the way you're presenting yourself, whatever, right? So,
Mhm.
and that's part
Yeah.
of you too. So if that's part of your brand as an interior designer, put it out there.
Put it out there, and so get really clear with your core values. I'm not saying you have to do the whole color strategy and rebrand everything, but get really clear about your core values. And again, how do you want to be perceived? What do you want your clients to say about you? Do you want them to say that you were resourceful and incredible? Do you want them to say that you were cheap and worked in a budget? Probably not. I'm telling you right now, you don't want them to say that about you.
Right.
Take that off your website. But I'm digressing into another topic.
Yeah. I get it though.
Yeah, get really real. What do you want them to say about you when you leave the room? And how can you create that from the very first touch point? How can you create that from the images that you use on your website, from the pictures that you show of your design style? It can be stock images. You don't have to always have your work out there. Stock images can still showcase the style that you love and that you want to create. So you don't have to worry about that.
If you're a new designer and you have to go that route, or flat lays or renderings that you've done, there's ways of showing who you are, even if you're in the beginning of your business.
Even if you're in the beginning. And actually, I have a client who's very well established. She's been doing this for 30 years, and every image on her website is a stock image. Because the work she does, her clients want a certain privacy. They don't want their stuff out there.
Yes.
And so every image, now we have a disclaimer in the bottom, and she flat out says that these are stock images, but they capture what I create for my clients. I respect the privacy of my clients. So anyway,
this is very important, because I have one of my clients is a celebrity designer, and she designs for celebrities. She has to sign a, agreement. An NDA. She's not allowed to talk about them, and she's not even supposed to tell me who they are. And that is, so she's got these very famous people, but she can't post that on her website.
No.
So she has to possibly, wait till she has a job that she can post, or start out with her style in stock images. And that's okay too.
And that's okay too. And so look at those images, even the jobs that you do, even if you're using your work, whether it's your work or stock images, ask yourself before you put that image on your website, does this capture the feeling I want to create? Does this capture who I want to attract? Because I have websites that aren't in my portfolio. Love the client, absolutely adore them. Don't love the website. They love the website, and that's what's important to me, and I'm happy for them. But I don't put them on my website because it's not who I want to attract, and it's not the message that I want to.
Uh-oh, I think we lost Teresa. So I know Teresa is traveling and she's somewhere else, so she's probably not in her regular Wi-Fi system. So I don't know if she will be back, but I'll wait another minute. In the meantime, I want you to go back and listen to the beginning and get the tips and tricks and read Teresa's blog to make sure that you're starting to get closer, if you feel you're not there, to your authentic branding. It's really important. Yeah, Teresa's totally frozen, so she's probably gone. Let me just bring her off of the screen so you guys don't have to see her frozen on the screen. We're coming to the end of our live anyway, so I'm sure she's going to be upset that she is no longer here. But her blog is incredible. All of Teresa's latest blogs have a lot of detail, and there's a lot of free training. So I encourage you to go there to start thinking about your branding process. If you're one of my clients and you're in Profit Insiders, we're going to be talking a lot about branding and authenticity and putting yourself out there and content. And Teresa is one of our advisors in all of my coaching programs. So you want to make sure you read and keep up on her content. If you can't do it today, that's okay. We're not saying go run and do it, but keep it in your arsenal of what you know you have to get done at some point over the next 6 months, 9 months, year. You decide where it falls into your priorities, because your brand awareness strategy is the starting point of everything you attract. If you are watching on YouTube, please like and follow so you get notifications of new videos. And we are going to try to do a better job of letting you guys know when we're live and when we have educational events through my coaching company here. So go have a great day. I hope Teresa's computer didn't die. How do you find the blogs, Karen? There's a link in the description of one of Teresa's blogs. It'll take you to the one about your brand awareness strategy is everything. And then you'll be on her website and you can go through all her blogs. She also has put multiple trainings into my membership site, the Confident Interior Designer membership site, which is accessible to all of my one-on-one, my Profit Insider group program, and my membership site only people. So her trainings are linked through my membership site as well. But I encourage you to go right to her. I know you froze, Teresa. I'm telling them basically go to your blog and click on it, read, and that'll take you to all of your blogs, which are extremely valuable all the time. So thank you, Teresa. I'm sorry you got bumped out. And I will see everybody on my next live, and we will see Teresa next month. If there are website, SEO, brand awareness questions, post them below, because Teresa then can form her next lives around what you guys need to know, want to know, and what you need to learn. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys